Hi friends, welcome to the channel JV and CIV Made Simple. So if you are preparing for cybercrime and fraud management certification course conducted by IIBF examination, then you are at the right place, because in this particular lecture we are going to see the previous year memory based question. Whatever question we are asked, recalled question, we are going to discuss. So without wasting our time, let's start with the discussion. The first question is on your screen. You can see that which of the following is not a component of fraud triangle, right? So options given are opportunity, incentive, rationalization, and option D say punishment. Take a second to think about it. I hope you got your answer. So let's explain each option one by one. So the fraud triangle, the concept here is talking about the fraud triangle. So this fraud triangle, this is a concept, right? It is a concept that explain why people commit fraud, right? It explain why people commit fraud, right? So it has three key parts. Let's go through them through a simple example. The first part is what we call as opportunity, right? So opportunity means chance to commit fraud. It simply means the chance to commit fraud. When there are weak control, missing check, or loopholes, a person might find it easy to cheat the system, right? For example, imagine a cashier at a store. If there is no camera, no supervisor, no regular audit, they might be tempted to take money from the register, and that is an opportunity for the fraud. Now option B say incentive. So incentive means, you can say pressure. Either you call it incentive or you call it pressure, both means the same. This is the reason behind the fraud. People commit fraud when they need money, when they face job pressure, or have some personal issue. For example, suppose an employee has huge debt, right? I take an example of an employee who has huge debts or gambling addiction, so they might feel pressured to steal money from the company to solve the problem, and that is an incentive. The third option say rationalization, right? So I hope option A, B and C, or option A, B, C clear. Now let's talk about option number C, rationalization. So rationalization is how the fraudster convince themselves, right? How the fraudster convince themselves that what they are doing is okay. So someone who steal office supply might think, I work extra hour and don't get paid enough, so I deserve this. This justify their wrongdoing in their mind. So they justify their wrongdoing in the mind. And option D say punishment. Punishment is not a part of the fraud triangle, because punishment is something which happen after fraud is caught. A strict punishment policy actually reduces fraud because people are scared of the consequences. For example, if a company has a strong fraud policy like immediate termination or legal action, employee will think twice before committing fraud, right? So what is the final answer? So friends, the correct answer is option number D, right? Punishment, because punishment is a deterrent, not a reason why fraud happened. So what we learned from this particular question, that opportunity, which means weak control or loopholes, it make fraud possible. Incentive or pressure, so personal or financial reason push someone toward fraud. Rationalization, the fraudster justify their action to feel less guilty. And punishment is not a component, it is a way to prevent the fraud. And that's it. Now you know how the fraud triangle work and why punishment is not a part of it. If you find this useful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more easy explanation, and comment below. So now let's see the next question. So this was the second question which was asked in the previous year question examination. So the question says that what is honey spot in cyber security? Honeypot, sorry. So option A says a type of malware that is spread through email attachment. Option B says a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attack. Option C say a firewall that prevent unauthorized data access. And option D say a technique used for encrypting sensitive data. Right, think about it for a second. I hope you got your answer. So let's break down each option and find out the correct one. So basically here the question is regarding what? Cyber security, right? What is the meaning of cyber security? Cyber security is all about protecting system from hackers. So you are protecting system from hackers, and honeypot is a unique strategy used for this purpose. So you are protecting your system for hacker, and honeypot is a strategy which is used for this. So now let's go to the option. Option is a type of malware that is spread through email attachment. So first of all, you know what is this malware? See, we are not just discussing the MCQs. We are discussing each and every option. We understand the main concept. So this is a conceptual session where we are studying each and every concept. Now, you know, malware refers to harmful software. You know, there are some harmful software, right, that infect system, often spreading through email attachment or malicious link. So suppose for example you receive an email claiming that you have won a prize, but when you open the attachment it secretly install a virus. So that is a malware, that is not a honeypot. So this option is incorrect, right? Now let's see the option number B. Option number B says that a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. So friends, you know, if we talk about this something called honeypot, so what is this honeypot? This honeypot is a fake or decoy system designed to lure hacker. So this system is designed to lure hacker, right? So security experts use it to study cyber threat and improve defenses. For example, you imagine setting up a fake banking website that looks real but is actually a trap. Hacker try to steal data from it, but instead their actions are recorded, helping security team prevent the real attack. And that is how honeypot works. What is happening that suppose you set up a fake banking website that look real but is really actually a trap, right? So fake website is an example of this honeypot. So hacker try to steal data from it, but instead their actions are recorded, helping security team prevent real attack. And that is how a honeypot works. So a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. Now option number C says that a firewall that prevent unauthorized data access. So firewall is a security barrier that block unauthorized traffic from entering a network. Think of a firewall as a security guard at the entrance of a building, checking who can come in and who can't. So a honeypot on the other hand welcome attacker to study them. So this option is also incorrect. And option D says a technique used for encrypting sensitive data. You know, encryption is a process of converting data into a code to prevent unauthorized access, right? So for example, when you use WhatsApp, your messages are encrypted, meaning no one except the sender and receiver can read them. So honeypot do not encrypt data, they act like a trap. So this option is incorrect. So what we have learned, option number, so final answer is that option number B is the correct one, right? So it is a network security mechanism designed to detect and trap cyber attacker. So quick recap, honeypot is a decoy system. You can say honeypot is a decoy system designed to attract and analyze hacker. No, it is not a malware. It does not spread through email. It's not a firewall. Firewall block access while honeypot welcome attacker. And it is not an encryption. Encryption protect data, but honeypot studies cyber threat. Friends, if you are looking for a study material for this cybercrime and fraud management, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number, or you can install our app JIV and CIV Made Simple. I have added a course which only costs rupees 200. You will get unit-wise theory, unit-wise MCQs, and previous year questions. All the things are included in this particular package. And the subject name you can see is a certification course in fraud management and cybercrime, right? And the PDF are completely downloadable. You can download the PDF and read offline, or you can take print also as per your requirement. This is the part 1 of the previous year question, and similarly I have added more than 3 parts, right? So which covers each and every important points which you help you in securing good marks in the examination with less effort. So for more detail you can WhatsApp me on this particular number for study material related to this particular chapter, this particular subject. Now let's talk about the next question we have. Under which Indian law is a cyber crime defined and regulated? Very good question it was asked, right? So which regulation, in which Indian law is a cyber crime defined and regulated? So let's answer it. Option A says Indian Contract Act 1872. Option B says Information Technology Act 2000. Option C says Indian Penal Code 1860. And option D says Companies Act 2013. So take a moment to think. Got your answer? Let's analyze each option one by one. You know, if we hear the topic, the main point is the cyber crime. I've highlighted it. So cyber crime, like suppose hacking, right? Like suppose hacking, like suppose identity theft. So these are the different kind of cyber crime we have. Identity theft, like online fraud. So they need a strong legal framework. Let's check which law actually regulate them. So option A say Indian Contract Act 1872. This is wrong because it is about legal agreement and business contract. So imagine you sign a contract to buy a car. If the seller does not deliver, you can take legal action. But if someone hack into your online banking, this law won't have. So this option is incorrect. Option B say IT Act 2000. Yes, this is correct. You know that IT Act 2000 is the India main law for cybercrime. It cover hacking, data theft, cyber fraud, unauthorized access. So if someone hacks your Instagram account, steal your personal data, or scam you online, they can be punished under the IT Act. So this is the correct answer. But you know, some cases may also involve the Indian Penal Code, but the IT Act is a primary law for cybercrime. Now, option C says Indian Penal Code. You know, IPC this is also wrong. IPC is a criminal law that punishes theft, fraud, and other crime. But cybercrime may also fall under IPC, but it is not the main law for cyber issue. For example, if someone threatens you online, they might be charged under Section 506 of the IPC, right? That is criminal intimidation. But hacking and data theft are covered mainly under the IT Act. So this option is partially correct but not the primary law. And option D is also wrong, that is Companies Act. Because if a company do not follow corporate governance rule, it can be fined under the Companies Act. But if someone commit online fraud, this law does not, if someone commit online fraud, this law does not do it. So that is the point. So what we learned, what is the final answer? The correct answer is option number B, right? That is Information Technology Act 2000, because it is an India main law for handling cybercrime. So what we learned, that Indian Contract Act is wrong, IT Act 2000 is correct, IPC is partially irrelevant, and Companies Act is also wrong, right? Because you know that regulates the business, not the cybercrime. So option number B here is correct. So this is the explanation, as you can see. Now next question, you can see that what is DML used for, that is data manipulation language used for. So here the question before you, that what is data manipulation language used for, and options are designing the structure of database. This is the first option, you can see. Option B says controlling access to database. Option C says adding, deleting, and modifying data in a database, and option D says defining relationship between tables in a database. So take a moment to think about it. What do you mean by data manipulation language? Okay, got it. So let's break it down in simplest form and see which option fits. So let's go through each and every option, understand what DML is all about. So option A says that designing the structure of database. This is wrong. You know that designing a database structure means you are creating table, okay, you are creating column, you are creating constraints, isn't it? So this is done using something called DDL. This is done using something called DDL. What is DDL? DDL stands for data definition language. So you suppose question is asked what is data definition language, so you should know, right? If data definition language means what? If you are designing a database structure, means creating tables, columns, and constraints, that is called DDL. For example, imagine you are building a library database. You need to create table for books, author, and borrower. So the structure or design is set up using DDL and not DML. So option A is incorrect. Option B says controlling access to the database. This is also wrong. You know, controlling access means managing who can view or modify the database. So when I say controlling access, it means managing, right? Managing what? Managing who can view or who can modify the database. So this is done using DCL. This is done using DCL. DCL, you know what is DCL? This is called data control language. Data control language, right? So for example, if you want to allow only the admin to delete record, so you would use DCL to grant or revoke permission. DML on the other hand is used for working with the actual data inside the database, right? So this option is also incorrect. Option C says adding, deleting, and modifying data in a database. Yes, this is correct. This is obviously correct. This is what DML is all about. It is used to insert, update, and delete data. Clearly written, insert, update, and delete data, right? For example, imagine you want to add a new book to the library database. So you do use insert. What you will do, you will use insert statement in the DML. Okay, so if you want to update the price of an existing book, so you would use update button, right? Update statement. And if a book is no longer available, you can delete it using this word delete. Okay, so this is the correct answer. And option D, what it says, defining relationship between table in a database. You know, defining relationship is like a setting up primary key and foreign key, and it is done using DDL, not DML. DDL stands for data definition language. For example, when you create a relationship between book table and author table, so you use DDL, right, to set a foreign key linking the two. So DML does not deal with relationship, right? DML work with data inside the table. So this option is incorrect. So the correct option is the correct answer is option number C, right? So quick recap: option A is wrong because designing a database is done using DDL. Option B is wrong because controlling access is done using DCL. Option C is right because this DML help you insert, update and delete data. And option D is also wrong because defining relationship is done using DDL, right? It is done using DDL. So you must know what is DDL, what is DCL, what is DML. Question may be changed. I hope it is clear. Please like the video if you think it was useful for you. I am explaining each and every option, right? So that is the important part. Now let's see the next question we have. What is Masquerade attack in cyber security, right? So let's talk about this particular attack. So friends, the options given are attack that disrupt network traffic. This is the first option. Attack where attacker pretend to be an authorized user. A method of encrypting data for security transmission. Option D say a type of malware that infects system file, right? So these are the options given here. Now let's go through it. So take a moment to think about it. Got your answer? Now let's go through each option and understand which one is correct. Now let's break it down one by one. Option A say an attack that disrupt network traffic. So basically this attack that disrupt network traffic is actually what we call as DOS attack, or we can call it denial of service attack, where attacker overload a network to make it slow or unavailable, right? So this is called overloading. Overload a network to make it slow or unavailable. So Masquerade attack are different. They focus on impersonation and not disruption. For example, imagine thousands of fake users trying to access a website at once, making it a crash. So that is called DOS attack. Okay, so not a Masquerade attack. So option A is incorrect. Now option B says that an attack where the attacker pretend to be authorized user. This is exactly what Masquerade attack is. The attacker steals or fakes an identity to gain access to a system as a legitimate user. For example, imagine you receive a phishing email, right? You receive a phishing email from someone pretending to be your bank. If you enter your login detail, the attacker now has access to your account and can act like they are you, and that is called Masquerade attack. Now option number C says that a method of encrypting data for security transmission. So encrypting is a security measure, not an attack. It helps protect data from hacker, but it is not a Masquerade attack. So option number C is wrong. For example, when you send message on WhatsApp, they are encrypted, so only the intended receiver can read them. Encryption prevent attacker rather than being an attack itself. So option number C is wrong. And option number D is a type of malware that infects system file. It describes malware attack like virus or trojans. So Masquerade attack do not rely on malicious software, they rely on identity deception. So Masquerade attack always rely on identity deception, right? So for example, if a hacker install a virus on your computer, that is a malware attack. But if they steal your username and password and log in pretending to be you, that is a Masquerade attack. So they steal your login password, login ID, password and pretend to be you, that is called Masquerade attack. So option number D is the correct. So that is the correct answer is option number B. B is correct one. So Masquerade attack focus on identity theft. So here the keyword is identity theft, right? So quick recap: option A is wrong because disrupting network traffic is called DOS attack. Option B is correct because Masquerade attack involve identity impersonation. Option C is wrong because encryption protect data, it is not an attack. And option D is wrong because malware infect file, but Masquerade attack rely on deception. I hope this makes you concept clear regarding Masquerade attack. This will no longer be an issue with you. You can easily answer such question easily. Now let's see the next question that we have. Question says that who developed the Bharat operating system solution BOSS Linux? So very good question it is. Option A say ISRO. Option B says CDAC, that is Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Option C say NIC, National Information Center. And option D is DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. Take a moment to think about it. Who developed this BOSS Linux? Take a moment to think about it. I hope you got your answer. Let's go through each option and find the correct one. So let's break it down one by one. So option A is ISRO. ISRO is in India Space Research Organization. It focuses on launching satellites. right? So this ISRO is focused on launching satellites, space exploration and scientific research. While ISRO does develop software for a space mission, it did not create boss Linux. Think of ISRO as a team being behind the Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, but not an operating system like Linux. So option A is incorrect. Option B says CDAC. You know what is the meaning of CDAC? Center for Development of Advanced Computing. Yes, right. So that this is the correct answer. CDAC developed BOSS Linux, right, to promote open source software in India. What was the main reason of creating it? To promote open source software. To promote this open source software in India, this was developed. The goal was to reduce dependency on costly foreign software and enhance cyber security. So if you have ever heard of supercomputer like Param, have you heard of it? If you have ever heard of the supercomputer like Param, so they were also developed by CDAC. Similarly, BOSS Linux is another type of major contribution. Option C say, so this is the correct answer. Option C say NIC. NIC is wrong. So NIC primarily work on e-governance, right? E-governance, which means they develop digital platform for government services, but they do not focus on operating system like BOSS Linux. So this DigiLocker, right? You might have heard of this DigiLocker. So this DigiLocker app, which allow you to store digital document like Aadhaar and driving license, is an NIC project, but NIC do not develop the operating system software. Now finally, option D number, we have DRDO. DRDO is responsible for defense technology, right? So, but including missiles, radars, fighter jet, but not Linux operating system. Agni, BrahMos missile, they were developed by DRDO, but they are not related to the software like BOSS Linux. So the correct answer is option number B. So quick recap, BOSS Linux was created to support India's goal of using open source software and strengthening cyber security. So option A, ISRO focus on space mission, not operating system development. CDAC, this is the correct answer. They developed the BOSS Linux for India. And NIC is for e-governance, and DRDO, it works on defense technology, not software like Linux. So I hope this make your concept clear. Now let's see the next one. So the next one we have, what does the term cyber smearing refers to, right? So there are 4 options given here. So let's see the option. Let's go through the option. So friends, option A says that hacking into a company system to steal confidential data. Option B says posting false or defamatory information about a company or individual online. Option C says using an encryption to protect sensitive information from cyber threat. And option D says phishing attack targeting financial institutions. Take a moment to think about it. Alright, let's break down each option and find the correct answer. Let's analyze each option carefully. Option A say hacking into computer system to steal confidential data, right? Hacking means gaining unauthorized access to a system to steal, modify, destroy data. However, this cyber smearing is not about hacking. It is about spreading false information. So what you are doing, you are spreading false information, and that is what cyber smearing is all about. For example, if a hacker breaks into a company database and leak customer detail, so that is hacking, not cyber smearing. Now option B says that posting false and defamatory information about a company or individual online. Yes, this is the correct answer. Cyber smearing means spreading false or negative information about a person or a company online to harm their reputation. For example, if someone spread fake negative review about a restaurant on a social media just to damage its business, that is called cyber smearing. Option C says that using encryption to protect sensitive information from cyber threat. This encryption is a security technique used to protect data from unauthorized access. It has nothing to do with spreading false information. For example, a bank encrypt customer password to keep them safe. That's encrypting, not cyber smearing. And option D say phishing attack targeting financial institutions. So phishing is when cyber criminal try to trick people into revealing sensitive information like password or banking detail. Since phishing is a fraud technique, not defamation, so option D is incorrect. So for example, if a scammer send an email pretending to be bank and ask for login details, so that is phishing and not cyber smearing. So the correct answer is option number B. Right, cyber smearing is when someone spread lies or misleading information on the internet to harm someone's reputation. So let's take a quick recap. So option A is wrong because hacking is about unauthorized access, not smearing. Option B is correct because cyber smearing is spreading false information to damage reputation. Option C is wrong because encryption is about security, not defamation. And option D is wrong because phishing is a scam technique, not cyber smearing. So I hope this make your concept clear regarding the cyber smearing, what it is all about. Right, now let's see the next one. The next one is a very good question. This was asked in the previous year. Let's answer it. As a branch manager, if you receive an email request from an NRI customer to transfer rupees 10,000 from their account, what should you do? So as you are a branch manager, if you receive an email request from an NRI customer to transfer 10,000 rupees from their account, what would you do? Right, so we will go through the answer choice and explain them in simple term and help you understand the correct approach. So let's dive into. So first is that process the transaction immediately. Ask the customer to send a written application by the post for transaction. Option C say ask the customer to send proof of address verified by the foreign authority. Option D say ignore the request as fraudulent. Take a moment to think about it. What would you do? Alright, now let's go through each and every option. Let's analyze each option one by one. So option A say process the transaction immediately. This is wrong. Bank do not process financial transactions solely based on email requests because of the security risk. Email can be hacked or spoofed, and if a fraudster gain access to the customer email, they can misuse it. So imagine a hacker gain access to an NRI customer email and request a fund transfer. If the bank process it without verification, the money could be lost. Option B says ask the customer to send a written application by post for the transaction. This is the correct answer. For security reason, bank require a duly signed written request from the NRI customer, which should be sent by post or through a secure banking channel like internet banking or mobile app. The bank receive an email request from an NRI customer. Instead of processing it immediately, the bank asks them to send a signed request via post or submit it through secure online banking. So this ensure authenticity and prevent the fraud. Right. Option C say ask for the proof of address verified by foreign authority. This is wrong. That the proof of address verification is usually required when opening an account or updating KYC, not for processing a fund transfer request. So if an NRI want to update their overseas address, they may need to provide address proof, but for a transaction request this is not necessary. And option D says ignore the request as fraudulent. See, this is incorrect also because not all email requests are fraudulent. Instead of ignoring the request, the bank must follow proper verification procedure and ask for a secure way to process the transaction. So NRI customer may genuinely need to transfer fund, but just because they send an email does not mean that the request is fraudulent. So the bank should verify it properly. So the correct answer is option number B. Right. So quick recap. Option A is wrong because processing without verification can lead to a fraud. Option B is correct because the written request ensure authenticity. Option C is wrong because address proof is needed for KYC, not transaction. And option D is wrong because not all email requests are fraudulent. So I hope this make your concept clear. What as a branch manager you should do in such a situation? Right, very nice. Now let's see the next question. What is the correct sequence of steps involved in online transaction? Right, what is the correct sequence of steps involved in online transaction? This is the question. Let's go through. So have you ever wondered what happened behind the scene when you buy something online? Let's break it down. Option A say payment, registration, placing order. Option B say registration, placing an order, payment, placing an order, payment, registration. Option D say registration, payment, placing an order. So take a moment to think about it. Alright, so let's break down each option to see which one makes sense. Option A is payment, registration, placing order. This is incorrect because you can't pay before you even register or place an order. Website need your detail first before processing payment. So imagine you visit an e-commerce site and the first thing they ask you is the payment. Sound odd, right? You need to register and then choose a product. That is what you do when you search on our app. You go to our app JIB and CIB Made Simple. First of all, you register there, you look for the product, then you place an order and then you do the payment. Right? Option B is the correct one because the first thing that you should do is registration. It means that creating an account by providing detail like email ID, name and address. Then you place an order, then you look for the product, you select a product and add it to your cart and review the order, and then you finally do the payment. That is, the customer make the payment through credit card, debit card, net banking or digital wallet, whatever it is. So the payment process is encrypted for security, right? You know it very well. So that is why this option number B is the correct one. Correct answer is option number B. Now option number C says placing an order, payment and registration. So have you ever tried checking out as a guest on a shopping website? Even then they ask you detail before allowing payment. And option D say registration, payment and placing an order. So this is also incorrect because you won't make a payment before selecting what to buy, right? So for example, imagine paying for a meal before choosing your dish at a restaurant. It does not work that way. So the correct answer is option number B, that you can't. So first of all you will do registration, then after you will place an order, and finally you will do the payment. This is the correct sequence. Now let's see the next one. What is the key feature of the E-KYC? That is electronic know your customer process introduced in 2015. So this question is regarding E-KYC process introduced in 2015. What is the key feature? So let's see the option. So did you know that in 2015 India introduced E-KYC, that is called electronic know your customer, a digital way of verifying identity, right? So option A says that manual verification of identity document. Option B say use of digital signature by Aadhaar authority and e-consent of subscriber. Option C say physical submission of paper-based KYC form. Option D say no requirement for authentication during KYC. Option A say manual verification of identity document. This is incorrect because traditional KYC required physical verification, but E-KYC was introduced to digitalize the process and eliminate manual check. Earlier you had to visit a bank, submit photocopies of document and wait for days. So E-KYC changed this by making it instant and digital. Option B is the use of digital signature by Aadhaar authority. This is the correct answer. There is something called digital signature. Digital signature means Aadhaar authority digitally sign the KYC data, ensuring authenticity. The second thing is the key feature is the e-consent. What is the meaning of e-consent? It means the customer give electronic approval to share Aadhaar details securely. And then we have the third part, which is paperless. The entire process is done online, making it faster and safer. And option C is a physical submission of paper-based KYC form. So this is incorrect because E-KYC was introduced to remove the need for physical form and streamline verification. Imagine opening a bank account from your home without any paperwork. So this becomes possible with E-KYC. And option D say no requirement for authentication during KYC. This is incorrect because KYC still requires authentication, just in a digital way through Aadhaar based verification. For example, without authentication anyone can misuse identity. So E-KYC ensures security through Aadhaar based verification. So the correct answer is option number B. So option A is wrong because manual verification was a part of traditional KYC, not E-KYC. Option B is correct because digital signature and e-consent made KYC secure and instant. Option C is wrong because E-KYC removed the need for physical paperwork. And option D is wrong because authentication is still required, just digitally. So I hope this make your concept clear, right? So this was the main point which we have just covered now. Let's see the next one. So the next one is, what is the primary function of a firewall in network security? So this question is asking that primary function of a firewall in the network security. So option A says that encrypting all outgoing and incoming data. Option B say monitoring and filtering network traffic based on predefined security rule. Option C say backing up data automatically. And option D say managing user authentication credential. So what do you think is the correct here? What is the primary use of firewall in network security? Option B is correct, right? Firewall is a critical component in network security that serves as a barrier between a trusted internet network and untrusted external network. So it is a primary function. Its primary function is to monitor and filter both incoming and outgoing network traffic based on what? So how, on the basis of what does it filter? Based on the predefined security rule. So this helps prevent unauthorized access and potential cyber threat from reaching internal system. So option A, C and D which describe other network functionality such as encryption. So option A, you see this describe encryption, right? Option C, you see backing up, that is called backup. And option D, you can see that authentication management. Option D is regarding the authentication management. So unlike this option number B accurately describe the main use of firewall, right? That is the main use of firewall. So friends, this is the first part of the lecture. If you want me to continue, please type yes in the chat box. I will bring part 2 also, because you can see I have more questions which are asked in the previous year. And friends, again I am reminding you, if you want previous year question, if you want unit wise theory, short notes, MCQs, it just only costs ₹200. You can WhatsApp me either on this particular number, or you can just see the description section of this particular YouTube video. The video you are seeing, in the description I have provided the link of the course and also the link of the app. After downloading the app, you can access the app in the web also, in the mobile also, anything you decide. You can download the PDF for your easy convenience. And this course will indeed help you to secure a good marks in the upcoming fraud management examination. Thank you for listening this particular lecture, and if you really want me to continue the lecture, want the part 2, please type part 2 or yes in the comment section.